Welcome back. Our next guest graduated from law school 4 days after her 50th birthday. She got a scholarship and finished in the top 20% of her class. What an overachiever, because she also raised 3 teenagers while doing it.
JC Ellis says it was the most selfish thing she's ever done, and she'd do it again in a heartbeat. God, I love her. JC used to appear regularly with us on The Morning Blend until she moved to Memphis, but she's back joining us today from home. So good to see you, JC. How are you?
Hi, JC.
Hey, Molly and Tiffany. Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me back. I missed you.
Missed you
yeah,
too.
It's been a while. We're so happy to hear this, and what a catch up. You've accomplished some pretty incredible things in the time you've went away. And first and foremost, what made you decide that you wanted to go back?
Well, it's one of those, it was a bucket list item that I thought I would do when I was in high school and college, and I just never did. And then life happens, and I was married, had 3 kids, and then, we relocated from Milwaukee to Memphis. And at that point, I bloomed where I was planted in Memphis, met some great people, gained some great barbecue weight, best barbecue ever.
I love that. Yep.
We're getting it in the right places. You know how we do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so I did a self-assessment. I realized, you know what? I want to go back to work, but my skills were kind of gappy because I had been out of the workforce for 7 years. So I knew I needed to retool. So while I was there, I also published 4 more books in my Black Diamond series. Proud of that. But I still wanted to kind of get back in the game, right? And I said, why not go big or go home? So I said, well, let me go and investigate going back to law school to stop imagining what I wanted to do and just start it.
Good for you. I'm so proud of you. What an accomplishment. One of the things that you talk about is sharpening the saw, which is something that I read in the book. I think it was 7 Skills of Highly Effective People. The title is something like that.
Oh, Stephen Covey, I see you. I read that. That's exactly where I got that from. So thanks for giving him the credit for that. So I knew that, in order to make myself competitive in the workforce, especially at my age, I needed to retool. And so one of the tips I would give women is that look at your life and see if you're not ready to do what it is you want to do, then make yourself ready. What does James Brown say? If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So I just, breath and decided I'm going to do this. And so I kept it a secret, which people close to me didn't even know I was studying for the LSAT, which is the law school admissions test. The only people who knew were the people who slept in my house.
That's insane. I think that's incredible. You were studying it. You said it was really hard, though. And that's what I want, to make the point. It's not like you're saying this was a breeze. You said this was almost like a little bit of torture, really.
Let me tell you, it was straight up waterboarding. And so I would study during the day while my kids were at school. And it's law school, the LSAT is nothing like law school. So it's all these logic games. It's a weed out, right? To see if you're really serious about, taking this next step. And I was. So I studied, I took the test the first time, and I'm gonna tell you, my score was embarrassingly low. I was so sad, right? Because my score was less than what I weighed at the time. And I had gained barbecue, right? And so I stopped. Or I could try again. So I bought LSAT for Dummies. I sure did, because I didn't want to pay a grip to take a prep course. And I tried again. And this time I scored 10 points higher, which was just enough for me to have the confidence that I needed to apply. And so I did it, I applied, but it was definitely hard. But juggling my family responsibilities and kids. So I was really disciplined. I would wake up earlier than everyone else so that I could study without taking time away from my kids. I really didn't watch a whole lot of television, but it wasn't easy, but it was rewarding, right? So anything rewarding is usually not easy. So you do it anyway.
Yeah.
That is so true. What do you need to say about hot flashes?
Girl, so I was in my mid-40s. I'm telling on myself, destroying the fantasy. But when I got to law school, I was competing with 22-year-olds. So I got a partial scholarship. But the trick with my scholarship was I had to remain in the top third of my class. So I'm competing with 22-year-olds who can basically memorize Jay-Z songs in 20 minutes. And I'm with I'm old enough to be their mom, and I'm trying to keep up. So sometimes I had to read things twice and work harder. And I was having hot flashes. So my tip on that was I always had a fan. I don't know if you could see my little fan. it. And then I had water with me at all times. And so in law school, they call you by your last name. And so they're like, Miss Ellis, you're always drinking water. Don't you drink coffee? And I was thinking to myself, if I drink coffee because caffeine was a trigger for hot flashes, I'm gonna be in here sweating like I'm in a sauna. That's not a good look, right? So I kept water, and then I would eat a Snickers bar every now and then to fight those chocolate cravings.
Oh.
But I made it work.
You look hot in that picture we just looked at on the staircase. I mean, just like totally owning it. But I think this is an interesting point. Is you said you felt like the universe was trying to convince you made a mistake, and I think so often we are so afraid we're making the wrong choice. How did you continue to stay on that path?
Yeah, so I embraced my inner Valerie Bertinelli. For those who only know her from her cooking show or that Hot in Cleveland show, she also did a show way back in the 70s called One Day at a Time. And I know some of you all know it. And so I took it one day at a time. So my first day of law school, my son had surgery. He fell off his bike and broke his arm in both bones in his arm. So he was in surgery for 9 hours. But instead of missing my first class, my in-laws stepped up and sat with him at the hospital. He was still in surgery when I came out of my first class. I had a second class that evening. Again, first day of law school. So imagine the stress and the mom guilt I was feeling. It was intense. So my brother came and sat with him at the hospital. So I just took it one day at a time. As things started happening, I had, roadblocks in my marriage. My daughter was had a concussion, so I had to take her back and forth to therapy. It was a lot converging. And I just said, you know what, today I can manage this. And I just did it one step at a time, but it was incredibly difficult. And I'm not saying that to discourage anyone. I'm just saying I was realistic and just managed it one day at a time, because law school is a jealous mistress. So if you don't give it the attention it deserves, it will act up on you.
What an example you set, though, for your daughters, too, or for your family.
Yeah, and I love the honesty, JC. It was so great to see you, catch up with you. You got to promise us that you won't stay away so long. We'll see you again soon.
Love to. Bye.
Sounds great.
Good to see you.
Take good care of yourself. We appreciate your time, and good for you. Congratulations.